So, alrighty, I will call the meeting to order. It is 10:04 a.m. But like I said, we don't have quorum, so this will just be sort of an unofficial meeting until we get some more people to arrive. So we're not going to approve the agenda. Bart, you are really close up on our agenda. If you would like to speak, please go ahead.
Hi, Eleanor. Certainly. I'm running. Very excited. Yes. Today happens to be my campaign kickoff event at my home in the backyard. So if anybody is anywhere near New Buffalo, feel free to attend. It's from 3:30 to 6. I see Naomi there, and unfortunately, she's not going to be able to make it, and that's a shame because she's just been a huge, huge help to this campaign. We're in the early stages of the campaign. I'm real happy to say that I've been able to attract some good talent to work on the campaign now. I retained a company called CN4 that's primarily out of Washington, that's worked with a lot of good campaigns all over Washington state, that is, not DC. That's worked for a lot of good campaigns throughout the country over the last 10 or 20 years. And they've got some good ideas because we have to run a creative, different campaign. Because as anybody who's ever met me knows, I've got no interest in a moral victory. I'm running to win. So to do so, we've got to pull off some Republicans, and that's going to take some creativity. But we're going to try and do it. So I'm excited. I've got them. I've also got another couple of people that work in media in Chicago that have joined on. One guy, his full-time job is they're the producers of a television show called Garage Heroes or something like that has quite a viewership in rural America. So I think he's got a good eye for that audience. And also, I'm real happy. I had become acquainted with a guy named Anthony Flaccavento, who where I became acquainted with him was a Rust Belt Rising seminar. And he's out of Virginia. He ran for Congress a couple times there and did incredibly better than any Democrat had ever done before or since. And he runs a organization called RUBY, Rural Urban Bridge Initiative. And he's coming on to also help me with the messaging. And I'm real excited about that because he's never done that for anybody before. I just asked, and he said, yeah, he'd be glad to. That was great. So I've got them, and then we've got a finance director, and we've got an assistant finance director, and we've got a campaign manager. There's still other people we've got to hire, but we've got a real team together now, and we're off. Got a long way to go in terms of raising money. At the end of this first quarter, we'll be over $100,000, which is a good start, given that it's been a very brief period of time. But it's to mount a really good campaign that does the type of direct mail and digital advertising that we want to do, not TV, but digital. We're going to need well over 1 million. Would be what I'm hoping to reach. So we're going to have to work hard. So my finance director has me doing call time, and it's as little fun as most of you have heard. You call numbers for a couple of hours and talk to very few people, but it's what you got to do. And so I'm doing that. And we're working on, honing the message. The idea is that we won't really make ourselves overly present and out there until the primary. The primary is August 2nd, and that's when we'll find out which Republican wins. That's the preliminary. The winner gets to face me. They're pretty excited about it. I met them a few times now at, parades and the like. In fact, at the Three Oaks parade last week, that was the first time I met Tim Walberg, who at first acted like he didn't know who I was, but then seemed to know an awful lot about me. So we're getting out there. And anyway, the idea is once we open it hard after the primary. Right now, we're thinking about we're gonna put me in an RV called the Bartmobile and send me all over the district every day, every small town. Batman music blaring as I pull into town, and just meet as many people as I possibly can, and let them know that, Democrats, we're not bad people. We want a whole lot of the same things, and we got to get beyond this partisan war, or it's not, the ending is not going to be good. So that's what we're doing and planning to do right now, and it's pretty exciting. Any questions from anybody?
Go ahead, Melissa.
Hi, Bart, Melissa Clapper. Just wanted to,
Hi,
how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You are doing well. So I need to get in touch with you. It'd probably be right after the primary. MEA, the Michigan Education Association, does do screenings, but because it's a congressional, it's a little bit different. So I need to find out who I put you in touch with to get a screening and hopefully an endorsement, because I'm pretty sure they have not endorsed Tim Walberg in the past, which means that even if there's not cash, one thing that MEA does is we put out recommended voter cards, and you have a hell of a big district. And so a lot of those cards go to all the registered voters that are members of MEA. I'm sure some of them are Tim Walberg fans, but that's beside the point. But anyway, it's kind of free publicity going in there. So I will, if you don't mind me doing it, I'm going to check out who it is that you need to be in contact with so they can contact you to get that set up. If that's
Excellent.
okay.
Please
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. And anybody can reach me. The email is bart@bart4michigan.com. That's BART at Bart, and then the numeral 4mi.com.
Okay.
Bart@bart4michigan.com. Very
Okay.
confusing.
All right. I
Yes.
will. I think I have your phone number, but I will reach out to them and find out what the when that's all going to take place, because it's, like I said, it's a little bit different than local ones because it's congressional, but I will find out.
Great. Great.
That's some extra stuff.
Yeah.
And there's
but you
MEA
think that's
places all
after the
over.
primary, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. That's what I have to
Yep.
find out, because since Jackson and all those places are involved, I'm sure, I just don't know who's in charge of it, because it's usually one of the UNICEF directors, but I will find out who it is and get them in contact with you. So,
Excellent.
okay, thanks.
Mariah.
Thanks, Eleanor. Hi, Bart. Just wanted to offer, I'm sure you have lots of plans for the 4th of July, but there is a parade in Schoolcraft that the Kalamazoo County Dems are going to be at. Just thought I would offer that up as an option to you. It's on our calendar. So if you want to show up or find out more information, just let me know and I'll get that to you if you have the availability in your schedule.
Well, thanks, Mariah. Yeah, we're trying to have all the different, particularly the county leaders, keep us posted on all the events. The one you're talking about, Mariah, would that be in Kalamazoo?
No, it's in Schoolcraft. So it's in
Schoolcraft,
Kalamazoo
you said
County
that.
and Schoolcraft. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And that's on our calendar. So take a look at that. It's on our website, kzdems.com/events, and you'll be able to find the details there.
But Schoolcraft's not in the district, is it?
It is. Yep.
It is. It's down. It's in that little slice of Kalamazoo there on the bottom. That's in it.
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Well, hopefully I can make that. I know there's going to be a lot of July 4th events. It's going to be a busy day.
And
I
the
sure will
Niles,
try.
and the Niles Apple Blossom Parade, I'm sure someone's told you about, is a big deal in Niles, so.
Exactly. And Niles is a big deal, period. Yep.
All right, thanks, Mariah. Rick, I see your hand too.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Eleanor. Good morning, Bart.
Good morning.
So I lived in Washtenaw County. So I lived in the current the old 7th district, which is Tim Wahlberg's district. Had the
Great.
fortune of working with Gretchen Driscoll, who was his opponent. I think she ran 3 times.
Great.
Gretchen has a home here, actually, in Southwest Michigan, and I believe it's in your district, not in the 4th, but in the 5th. So anyway, just wanted to reach out and let you know about that, and to also let you know, to follow up on Melissa's comment about the MEA SNRs, that they are holding screening and recommendations now, I believe, for House, for state offices, not the federal yet, but I know that in Washtenaw County, the portion that may be even in the 5th now, because all of it's been redistricted over there, that they will be in contact. So I'll let Melissa do that, but that's a worthwhile endeavor. So thank you.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we don't have any of Washtenaw though. None of Washtenaw.
All right,
10 counties was enough.
there you go. Monroe though, Monroe County.
All of Monroe.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I mean, the 7 counties that extend along the southern border, we essentially have all of each of those counties except for Berrien. And in Berrien, we only go as far north as Stevensville. We don't, unfortunately, have St. Joe and Benton Harbor. But the other counties on the border, we've got the entire things, and then we've got all of Jackson. In Calhoun, we've got geographically most of it, but they didn't give us the part that has the people, which are in Battle Creek. And then we've just got a little sliver of Kalamazoo at the very bottom. That's what it's a big enough district. That's it. Looks like a
I'm sharing.
submarine, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm sharing from your website, Bart.
Yeah, it
So
looks like a
this is
submarine.
CD5. It does look like a submarine or a boat. Yeah. So this is CD5. It's humongous.
It is.
Like,
It is.
having driven to Detroit numerous times from Kalamazoo, it's a long drive. So I can't imagine going from one side to the other completely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I went to an event in Monroe weekend before last, and so round trip was about 450 miles, but it was worth it. It was a good event. I'm going to have to get smarter about that in the future, right? Particularly when I have this RV called the Bartmobile, and it's probably getting 5 miles to the gallon. We'll have to figure out, putting events together, and but we got a staff to do that now, and hopefully it'll happen.
So Bart, if we have information on people that you might contact, should they contact you, or should you have somebody that you would kind of like go through so you don't have to answer a gazillion emails? Do you have a communications person or somebody that you would prefer?
Yeah, I mean, you could write straight to my campaign manager, Allison, but at this point,
it doesn't matter. Okay.
It doesn't matter. When I get it, I will reply to you and copy her in. And if I don't do that, then I didn't get it. So
okay, all right.
Please contact me again.
Okay, all right. Because I'm thinking, to Rick's point, that there are a lot of people in MEA in different places that can, that are also with the Dem. So we'll just have to see how that's all being coordinated for events and stuff like that. So
right.
Okay.
Also, the Michigan AFL-CIO labor councils, we cover quite a few of those counties, and if you can find their website and try and get an endorsement in there, we do mailings as well.
Well, Mikey, if you have some leads there, I'd sure appreciate it. I mean, it's going to be huge to get labor involved. Got to do that. We we all know that in recent years, labor is no longer the blue vote, the uniform blue vote that it once was. So it's really important to get in front of those people. So I need all the help I can get to set up meetings where I can talk to union workers.
Are
Bart, do
you
you
in-
have, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, are you in touch with any of the MDP caucuses, like the rural caucus or any of them?
Oh, yeah, yeah, the rural caucus is helpful. They've endorsed me. And you know, the MDP itself, you know, there's Project 83 people, there's the One Campaign people. It remains to be seen how much help they're going to provide. I'm hoping that it'll be quite a bit, but I just don't know at this point. The DCCC has been completely non-communicative, so I haven't heard from them. But you know, now that I have more quote unquote professionals involved, we're going to be doing a better job of reaching out to all these organizations. And oh, you know, for example, Pod Save America, we've reached out to them, and they can do a lot of volunteer work throughout the country. And you know, anything we can do, anything we can do. And fortunately, I've got people to help me now, and ones that are more experienced with running campaigns than I am.
I'm also gonna send you an email, Bart, with David Pulaski's contact information. He's the Labor Council Chair. So I'll get you two hooked up, and
Great.
they have meetings pretty regularly, so you can at least attend and talk to people from across the area.
Tremendous.
Awesome.
Good. That's what I was trying to do. I was getting my info into his website so that they can contact me. But if you just send him Dave, that's smart. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, and emails are preferred because then I can get them to my staff. We can make sure we don't lose them. As opposed to right now finding Micah Perkins on here, which I'm going to write down. But
Yeah, I don't have his email handy. I mean, you should be in contact with Joey. He has the contact info for all these people.
you would think, yes, yes.
Yes, he
but-
does.
So you could just start there. But Micah is a good contact because he kind of has all of their ears often.
Great. So
Yeah, check with Joey. He's got that information too. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, Joey's been very helpful. He'll be here this afternoon for my kickoff. I'm going to have him speak too. So looking
And
forward to
Dave
seeing Joey
Pulaski.
today.
Yeah, Dave Pulaski's a good one. Yes, good call, Eleanor.
Excellent. Awesome. Any other questions for Bart? Thank you for your time, Bart. Really appreciate you coming and speaking with us, and of course, best of luck.
Thank you.
So I just emailed you and David and myself. So now you've got my contact information. If you've got any questions or need me to reach out to anybody for you, please just contact me and let me know.
Great. I appreciate the wish for good luck. I need it. We all need it. Do I need to stay on this call any longer, Eleanor, or can I get back to preparing for this event today?
Your prerogative, but you're welcome to leave if you need to address other things. So thanks for your time. Really appreciate you attending this morning.
Excellent. Great to meet you guys. Well, I've met many of you before, but some of you I haven't, and it is great. So thanks. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care all.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Okay, cool. That was extremely productive. We now have quorum, so if we can step back for a moment and do the approval of the agenda. Let me share my screen really quick.
Sorry to be late. I move we approve the agenda as presented.
No worries. Okay, can everybody see the agenda? Cool. All right, this is the agenda just for review. Thank you for the motion. Can I have a second?
Second, Catherine.
Appreciate you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Huzzah, we have an approved agenda. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen then. Cool, thank you very much. So we already did the Bart Goldberg. All right, my report. So starting with the SCC meeting, that was last 2 weekends ago on June 4th. This one was pretty straightforward. Not too much business was attended to. The election buddy thing that they were using for voting during the meeting actually functioned properly. Oddly enough, most of the discussion actually surrounded just Zoom itself and people's frustration with still meeting virtually, even though COVID is still going on. Most of the comments were, like using Zoom and voting for because Election Buddy didn't work in the previous meeting and we quit early because somebody motioned to adjourn the meeting before we had finished all of our business on the agenda. Most of the discussion surrounded just the general frustration with the meetings as they've been previously. That was really the crux of that meeting. It was, we approved the minutes, we looked at the financials, we talked about upcoming stuff, mainly the August 20th endorsement convention. So it was kind of uneventful for the most part. And yeah, it sounds like probably because the endorsement convention is being held in person. So that's going to be August 20th and 21st in Lansing. There is no virtual option, which is kind of disappointing. So we need to plan for that. I'm most likely not going to be able to attend. So one of the vice chairs will have to run that district meeting. It's 2 days. I think the districts will meet on the first day and then the entire second day will be the endorsement convention portion. So that's in August 20th and 21st. It's Saturday and Sunday in Lansing. They probably said where it is and I didn't write it down, but yeah. And they
At the
were
Lansing, it's at the Lansing Center.
at Lansing. Thank
At
you.
Lansing Center, right down from the
Lansing Center.
Capitol.
Yeah, so I would highly suggest that if any of you are planning on going, that you get a ticket or you get a hotel room now, because hotel and everything prices are just going to keep going up to my knowledge. But it is very disappointing that they're not offering a virtual option, considering the price of gas, the price of lodging at the moment, the price of everything. It's kind of discouraging. And like I said, I'm not going to be able to attend, which is unfortunate.
And all the caucuses and all the specialty, they're all going to be there. So I mean,
Yeah.
everything is going to be in person. So we
Yeah.
should remind Bart that he probably needs to do some of those too
True.
that weekend to meet some of those people.
Yeah.
Even though
All
I
right,
know
so
it's for
that-
the other stuff, but
Yeah. So that was the meat and potatoes of the SEC meeting. All things considered, it was actually pretty tame. But given that the endorsement convention is in person, I'm going to guess that our next SCC meeting after that is going to be in person instead of on Zoom. So TBD, we'll see. All right. The other big thing that they mentioned in the chair's call this month, lots and lots of voter protection stuff is on the agenda. There's trainings that everyone can attend. If you want specific information about any of these trainings that are available, just let me know and I can send them your way. But most of the county chairs, you should have gotten this in the wrap-up email from the chair's call. They've got early vote challengers, polling place challengers for the primaries, absentee counting room challengers. They've got trainings for all of these at various times and dates. Looks like Saturday, June 18th or Monday, July 18th for the early vote challenger training. Saturday in July and Wednesday in July or Monday in July in the evening for polling place challenger training. And I can put this in the chat too. Absentee counting room challenger trainings are Thursday, July 11th or Saturday, July 23rd. All of these are virtual and on Zoom. So I'll put these in the chat once I'm done speaking
and
about
most
them.
of
But
them are
that's,
through Mobilize too. If you can get to that
Mhm.
Mobilize app, that's where
Yeah.
a lot of that is.
yeah. The other thing that I wanted to mention is the DNC has a resource for anyone, not just chairs, but anybody who might be helping out with a campaign. It's called the Victory Vault. It's basically just a bunch of training materials that they maintain that you can get access to. All you have to do is sign up. I will post the link in the chat. Oh, come on, Zoom. But yeah, basically, it's just a bunch of training materials from the DNC. They have an organization called the Best Practices Institute who maintains this, so it's a BPI. But yeah, you can sign up for this. They'll add you, they add people every Wednesday. So if you sign up today, you might not hear back from them on Wednesday. But it's, you know, like, if you want to hold a training for anything related to democracy, this is the kind of material that you need, but it's super helpful for campaigns, for local parties. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared this with you because it's extremely important that we're able to, you know, train people effectively so that they can be effective campaigners and organizers. And we're going to be doing a lot of phone banking, a lot of talking to people, especially after the primary. So having, you know, the resources to train people and get them to be effective at talking to constituents is extremely important. All right. Other than that, besides just planning for the picnic, but I don't want to steal Jill's thunder because I'm pretty sure that she wants to talk about that. Our next meeting will be in person at Little John Lake County Park in July. That's our annual summer picnic. Besides the date, right now, there isn't a lot of information out there. Jill can probably talk more about it, but just keep that in mind. There will be an email going out to our list with a save the date, just like, hey, it's this day. We don't have any more details other than that, just out to our list after this meeting this afternoon, just to make sure it's on everybody's calendar. Yeah. Report of the treasurer. Ken is not here. He told me nothing has changed, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so our previous discussion about all of our financial issues. I think that we should probably try our best to spend all of our money so that it's not in our account and we're not in non-compliance, because if we don't have any money, well, there's nothing really to file. So our candidates need funding. We have money. I think that we should spend it. Probably should wait until after the primary for some races, obviously. But after the primary, after August 2nd, I think that we should be extremely generous with the funds that we have available and just get it out of our hands and into the hands of our candidates so that they can be effective. Melissa, I see your hand.
Should we maybe focus, well, after the primary, depending on whether or not Joseph gets on there, but we've heard Bart saying that he needs money and the district he has is, you know, my God, it's just long. So should we, I mean, I think if we're going to spend the money to spend it wisely, that maybe we need to prioritize where, I mean, everybody of course always needs money, but maybe we look at the whole picture for the 6th district / the 4th / the 5th, you know, where everybody's at right now. And maybe we try and look at where we can spend that money most efficiently. I mean, I know that's listening to MEA, listening to MDP. Bart is probably correct because there's not tons and tons and tons of money. None of these big organizations are they're going to concentrate on where they can get the biggest bang for their buck. So I don't think we can get a lot of money from some of those places. So I would just suggest that when we figure it out, that we really do prioritize where we can get the best bang for our buck as well. I know that sounds kind of cold since, you know, want to discourage people that are running down ballot, you know, down ticket, but at the same time, you know, I think we have to be very conscious about what we're doing. At least that's kind of my opinion.
And Rick can speak to this best, I think, but I think pre-primary, we need to be giving some money to Joseph, right? Like right now. Right, Rick?
Yeah, we can talk about that more.
He's got a whole report.
All right, Jill, I see your hand.
Yeah, I think that we need to find out who is liable for the fines if we empty the bank account.
That's a good point.
Good point too.
I don't know, because it's the organization. So who is the organization? Well, and also, I mean, so the PAC account would be the one that that we would empty, because that's the one that we could spend on candidates. theoretically, we still have money in the admin account. I would think that that would be usable on fines because it's the organization's money, not the money for the candidates.
Yeah.
So if we empty the PAC account, but don't empty the admin account and hold that in reserve, I think that makes sense. I'm not sure though. I can ask Ken for clarification.
Right.
And I thought we had this conversation, and I thought the fact that we're going to dissolve our organization means that we probably won't be responsible for those fines. Our organization will not exist, right? So how can they?
Right.
I don't know. I don't like making.
We don't know.
assumptions.
We don't know, and the MDP has not been very forthcoming with that information. Like I asked and they're just like, I don't know. So
Well, back to maybe we need to find a lawyer, Mark, I mean, like I said, there was a lawyer that was involved and we set this account all up. I don't know if Joe, were
I
you on
asked
that?
about that. I asked
Yeah.
Sonny about that. He said it was Mark Brewer.
There was another guy. Weren't you on that committee with me? Seemed like it wasn't Mark Brewer. There was another guy that
Hmm.
that we talked to as well. And
That was
I
the only
just-
name I got from Sonny.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
all right,
So that's the
well,
only concern.
I
And the
don't-
other thing is
I
that
agree.
whether you have any money in the account or not, you still have to do the filings and you still have to pay the fines even if you don't have any money.
right. But I think, well, are the fines aren't determinant on how much money we have in the account. It's just the fact that we didn't file and we get
As
fined.
far as I know, yes, it's just a failure to file
Right.
fine. I know this because I had a county commission candidate that, set up his statement of organization. And for some reason, he didn't check the waiver. And then he's like, well, I didn't raise any money and I didn't spend any money, so I absolutely don't have to file. And he found out he was very mistaken.
Okay, cool. It looks like I have Mark Brewer's email address. Goodman Acker is a law firm.
Yeah. Eleanor, do you, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Oh, wait.
I was just gonna say I can contact him and ask. Go ahead.
Eleanor, I have his cell phone number if that's more helpful.
Yeah, yep.
I don't mind email. Email's fine.
Call him. No, call him.
Okay.
I think this is important enough where somebody needs to make the call. And if you tell him who you are and where you're from, and if you need assistance with that, or you need somebody else to help you with that, let me know, but I think a
Okay.
phone call. Because my question is going to be, do you know how much money we have in that pack?
Let me find
No.
the last report that I had that has money. Because it hasn't changed. I'll have to look in my email, but
I'd be all right. Okay.
I would have to check the previous minutes, but it hasn't changed from the last time that we reported it, so I have to find it. Off the top of my head, I think it's something like $3,000 or $4,000.
Okay.
That sounds about right. So a significant sum. But I know that that's not gonna go that far for our candidates. Melissa, I see your hand too.
I agree with Joe. I mean, I thought we had some of this figured out. We have got to get this figured out because, you don't need to be responsible as the chair, we don't need to be responsible as the 6th district, whoever that might, entail. And so, I mean, somebody has got to have the answer to this question and start with Mark Brewer and maybe he can tell you who, but we need an answer yesterday, which I know we all know that, but we need to take care of this. We need to take care of this, so.
Okay. Before our next meeting, I'll make sure to reach out to Mark. Mariah, can you either email me or text me his number?
Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Alrighty, so next on our agenda is the candidate recruitment and campaigns committee. So Rick, please.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, let me put my hand down. Sorry, I'll lower my hand. So this committee has been very active the last month and a half. And I'm gonna provide a pretty extensive report here. And I'm gonna ask if Mariah and or Melissa have anything to add, that they do so as I start to give the report, because they've been very involved as well. So just in general, it was great to have Bart Goldberg with us this morning. He wasn't sure why he needed to be here. I said, well, come on in because we're part of your district now. And so I was glad that he was able to be here. He made the ballot and with enough qualified signatures. The other thing in general that I will mention is per the request of our chair, I contacted Lucas Day of the Michigan Coalition Against Homelessness. Lucas works for that group and asked for contact information for some of our candidates so that he could distribute a survey. And so what I did is I contacted as many candidates in advance and asked if it would be all right to share their contact information with Lucas. And everybody that I contacted said yes. So I forwarded that information on to Lucas. So I just wanted to report back to Eleanor that that did happen. So a couple of other things in terms of candidate recruitment as we continue. The CD6, our current group here, CRCC members in the new CD4 have met with Joseph Alfonso because, as most of you know, he failed in getting enough valid signatures to get on the ballot. Joseph has agreed to run as a write-in candidate for the August 2nd primary to get onto the November ballots. At this time, we are not aware of any other Democrats that are running a write-in campaign. That was a question that had come to us, and we are not aware of that. If anybody on this call is aware of that or hears of anybody else, but I'm not aware of anybody else who has filed to run as a write-in candidate. If we are unsuccessful in getting Joseph on the ballot, then there will be no Democrat on the ballot in CD4 running against Bill Huizenga. And then the last thing I'm going to mention before I get into my campaign update for Joseph or from Joseph is I really think that, and I'm going to take this to the committee because part of our responsibilities per our bylaws is to assess elections and that sort of thing. I really think that we need to, in CD6 and then moving forward in 4 and 5, evaluate and assess future congressional district campaigns. Hopefully we can do that after the November election. And my goal would be to provide better communication to candidates and earlier candidate support just to make that happen. The next thing I'm going to do, and again, I'm going to, if you will allow me to give I'm going to give an update as to where we were back on May the 24th with Joseph Alfonso, all the way up till yesterday afternoon when we had a meeting with Jeff Winston from the Michigan Democratic Party. Are there any questions for me before I get into that? I want to be thorough. I want to try to be efficient. I don't want to rush anything, but if anybody has any questions along the way, please let me know. Jill Dunham has been it's been very important. Her involvement's been very important. As I already mentioned, Melissa, as well as Mariah in their contributions to making this happen. So I'll reference them throughout. And if I say anything incorrect or anything like that, please correct me as we go along. So I'm going to start, and I have this written up, Eleanor, so I will forward you a hard copy of this if you want to include it in the minutes for the meeting. So you don't have to worry about writing anything down. All right, so I'm going to take you back to May 24th. May 24th, it was reported that Joseph Alfonso missed the signature threshold by 41 signatures. He submitted 1,027, 959 were valid, and so missed the ballot by 41 signatures. On May the 26th, I was in email contact with Jamario Eddy, asking how we might want to move forward in regards to the Alfonso campaign, but because at that point there were rumors that he may try to run as an independent, but that he may be open to running as a write-in candidate for as a Democrat. Soon after that, members of our committee in the new CD4 discussed the situation, and I will mention this directly or specifically at the urging of Helen Goings, who is on the CRCC representing Allegan County. She recommended and strongly suggested that we invite Joseph to a meeting. And so we met with him on May the 27th and in Allegan. So I want to thank Helen and the Allegan Democratic Party for everything they did to make that happen, to initiate that meeting. I reached out to everybody on our CRCC and invited them to attend the meeting. On the 27th, we met with him at 9 a.m. in Allegan. In attendance was Helen Goings from Allegan, Mariah Phelps from the Kalamazoo County Democratic Party. She's the chair, obviously. Doug Cultra is the CRCC rep from Van Buren County. Berrien County was unable to attend that meeting, but Melissa Clapper has agreed to be the representative from Berrien County on the committee now. Guest there was Austin Marsman. He is from Allegan County, very involved with the Allegan County Dems and is a county commission candidate there as well. And then myself, I was in attendance as well. We had lots of conversation with Joseph at that time, and the decision was made we let Joseph know that the CD6, CD4 Dems would support Joseph in an attempt to get on the ballot as a write-in candidate for the August primary. And at that time, he agreed to do that. And so he agreed. He wasn't sure, but he agreed at that time to make that happen. And then we set our next meeting for, at that point, for June the 28th. May 27th, that additional correspondence with Jamario Eddy, just to be sure that the MDP was aware of what was going on. May the 29th, Mariah, myself, and Joseph gave up a Sunday morning, Memorial Day weekend, to Zoom and to begin looking at the van data information as we tried to create a target voter list and to begin to create a strategy for the campaign. At that time, we were still uncertain as to the exact number, the win number that Joseph needed to get on the ballot. Several members of the committee, and I want to thank Jill, I want to thank Melissa, Mariah as well, for doing as much research as we could, because it was not clear as to what the win number would need to be. There are specific rules and guidelines, but we weren't sure. Some of us weren't sure how to interpret those. But having said that, I did correspond with the MDP. The MDP confirmed with us that the win number would need to be 3,544 votes written in on the August 2nd primary ballot. And that also resulted in additional contact with Jeff Winston. I'm not sure how many, several of you may be already familiar with Jeff. Jeff was a member, he led the Winnie Brinks campaign, a successful writing campaign, her Senate campaign. He is a West Michigan organizer and the director of the MDP Project 83. I don't know if Corey is still on the call. Yeah, Corey King is there as well. So Corey, you can jump in as well if there's anything else that you need to add. So we had additional conversation with Jeff. The federal campaign, a federal campaign puts limits on what the state party can do. And so Jeff and our two Southwest Michigan organizers, Corey King and Jamario Eddy, offered to volunteer for the Alfonso campaign on a limited basis. So we have those folks assisting the campaign on a volunteer basis as well. We did meet on June the 8th, just last week, right? Was that a week ago? All three of the MDP volunteers attended the meeting. We did add representatives from Ottawa County, which is now in the new 4th Congressional District. And since that meeting, we have been in contact with the Calhoun County Democratic Party and people in the Battle Creek area in particular. Bart Goldberg mentioned that he wished he would have had Northern Berrien and that most northwest corner of Calhoun County in the 5th. But we are fortunate to have those two areas in the 4th Congressional District. So anyway, so we reached out and had communication correspondence with those folks as well. At that meeting on June the 8th, a draft campaign plan was shared that identifies a targeted voter area, includes multiple mailers, a voter education program, which includes explaining the difference between the State House of Representatives and congressional representatives. There are voters and that are still confused how that works. We also have included in that new district lines and how people can go ahead with a writing campaign. Also at that meeting, a phone banking strategy was recommended, which will happen in 3 rounds. Volunteers at the poll and including volunteers at the polls to hand out palm cards on August 2nd. As a part of that phone banking strategy, the campaign focus is on recruiting volunteers to sign up for phone banking. The campaign will provide training and will provide support during the phone banks, right, for volunteers, while they make calls during the different shifts that are going to take place there. A script will be provided if anybody on here has never done calls. The list and that sort of thing will be provided for us. We'll be able to log in, you sign up for a shift, you do the training and you go. On your phone, there'll be a script provided for our people making phone calls and a way to gather and enter data from the voters as well. And what I'm going to do is, well, this is what I'm going to do. There is a link. I know Mariah has this already and has shared it possibly with Kalamazoo Dems. There's a link and also a QR code that can be utilized to have people sign up for to do phone banking. Okay. And so at that meeting on the 8th, we discussed that we wanted to keep that link focused on the people that we already have on our volunteer lists in each of our counties. It doesn't have to be just CD4 counties. It can be anybody in the CD6. The one thing that Jeff Winston recommended from the MDP is we don't share this on a public, like personal Facebook pages or anything like that at this point, because of possible nefarious activity by others who might want to come on and cause trouble. And so at this point, we are going to just ask people to share this information with people that they may know, volunteers on your volunteer list in the various counties, because we need to secure volunteers, as many volunteers as possible. So I'm going to take a break right now because I have about 5 more minutes of information to share based on a meeting and additional information that I've received from the Michigan Democratic Party on behalf of Jeff Winston. The other thing that I will share, there has maybe been nobody more critical of the Michigan Democratic Party from the 6th Congressional District than myself. My frustration that I've had, communication frustrations and that sort of thing. And I've welcomed the opportunity to share those informations in these formats. But I will say the response from the Michigan Democratic Party has been swift. I'm very pleased with their response, and I'm going to get into some details of that in the remainder of my update for the campaign. But at this point, I want to make sure I've not misspoken. And so I'm going to allow Melissa, Mariah, Jill, who else might be on here. I've shared information. I gave a report and update to the Berrien County Dems. So, or Corey, if anybody else wants to add anything, please jump in and then I'll finish.
The first thing, a couple things. So who's going to pay for the mailers? I mean, in reference to Amy saying that Joseph needs money now.
Yep.
Who is going to pay for the mailers?
I'm going to address, yep, Melissa, I'll
Okay.
address that in just a minute.
Okay,
Yep,
that's fine.
Yep.
Important that we have the same message that, and the messages, because I've seen a lot of things popping up on Facebook, people trying to be helpful, which is great. But if we're going to do that, we definitely have to have a message that is going out with correct information on how to do it. And number 3, with these 3 rounds of phone banking, at one point, this first round of phone banking is going to be targeting AV voters, correct? Okay.
Yep,
That's
that is
it.
correct.
That's all I have.
I'm going to address that a little bit more specifically here in just a
Okay.
minute.
Great.
One quick point of clarification. It is the case that 3,000 exactly number can come from anywhere, which is an important point to make, right? Because that's why you're targeting the voters the way you are in the phone bank and outreach, right?
Yeah, because there was somebody had a question about, does it have to come from I think it came from at that meeting, right, Amy? That's what you're referencing. Somebody asked if there had to be a specific number of votes from each county, I think, or something like that. Those 3,544 can come from anywhere within the 4th Congressional District. It's not determinate on a specific like percentage coming from each county or precinct, I guess, maybe a better way to address that. But Amy's correct. Anything else before I go on? 'Cause I want to make sure.
Yeah, which is a big deal because this is very doable if we realize that it can come from anywhere, I think.
Yeah, and not just writing his name, but filling in the damn bubble.
Yep.
I mean, those are 2 steps. It has to be both of those steps that people have to understand.
Right. So a couple of things. Jeff just sent me some additional information this morning, and I'll see if it's if it's worthwhile to share on the screen in just a minute, Eleanor, but I'll let you know about that. Jill, you just put something in there about that the Palm cards, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had sent it to you, but Helen said that you couldn't find it, so I resent it.
Thank you. She sent it to me as well. She is so good.
I know.
She is so good. She did send that to me yesterday, and I've already shared that with the campaign too. So to
Okay,
update
good.
it with
Yeah.
our information. But thank you very
Yeah,
much.
the image, all the like right in Joseph Alfonso and all that is an image block dropped on there, and then
Okay.
just that line that says paid for by
Yeah.
is editable.
Thank you for that. Really, I just have a few minutes left, and then I will address, hopefully address Melissa's questions when I go through this. If I don't, I'll go back. So I had communication with Jeff Winston on June the 16th, just a few days ago. I had a voicemail first. The MDP is going to go ahead. 12,036 mailers will go out to 14,500 voters. The goal, they've already gone to print, the gang printing, which is an MDP connected, I don't know if it's a program that MDP is running or whatever, but a way to run campaign literature and a mailer. The goal is for those mailers to hit the mailboxes on June the 24th, which is the same day that we're going to start our phone banking. The total cost of that first mailer is $4,999.75. And the reason that that's important is that the total budget coming from the MDP to support this campaign, because of their limits that they can, or the limits that they have as a state party on contributing to a federal campaign, the total budget from the MDP is $5,000 for the primary, $5,000 for the general. So I had some questions after I received that voicemail from Jeff. He explained that the MDP limit is, and the MDP is going to make an in-kind donation of the 5,000, right? County parties can still make direct donations. And we, as out of our federal PAC, if we chose to make a contribution to the campaign, we can do that from the 6th Congressional without any, without having to worry about, or still being in compliance, I guess is what I'll say. Like I said, that $5,000 from them, first mailer, and I'll pull it up so you can see it if you're interested in seeing what it's going to look like. Again, that's going to go out on June the 24th. Jeff is still going to help us with set up the phone banking, training, and support. I would imagine that Jamario and Corey will also be involved with that as well. Melissa, does that address the financial questions you had?
Yes, it does.
All right. You also asked about targeted voters, right? So that specifically targeted voter, the numbers that I shared with you, the campaign strategy, the campaign plan that we received from Jeff Winston also identified, I believe it's 36 precincts that will be focused on the actual day of the election. He's provided that list, and working within the current CD6 and our CD4 counties will try to make, we need to make sure we have people at each of those. And I'll work with.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Oh, was that me?
Mhm.
All right, we good to go?
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. So anyway, so we'll go ahead and share that information as well. Jeff also ran a van training for area candidates in his area on Thursday, Friday, or yesterday afternoon. We had a conversation with Jeff. He did a fundraising training for myself and Joseph's deputy campaign manager. And then we are scheduled to meet again on Thursday, June the 22nd at the Kalamazoo County Democratic Party office at 11 a.m. I want to thank Mariah for offering the space to hold the meeting. And I encourage everyone to go visit Joseph's website if you haven't done that already. The other thing I'm going to ask of each and every one of you is to sign up for a shift or 2 or 3 to make phone calls on his behalf. I can't stress enough, if we are unsuccessful in making this happen, and I've spoken with several individuals on this call about assessing what went wrong before now and where we are now. But for me, just trying to look forward at this point, if we are unsuccessful, there will be no Democrat on the ballot for Congress on the November ballot. And for some voters, that will mean they'll vote for Gretchen Whitmer, they'll vote for Jocelyn Benson, they'll vote for Dana Nessel. There will be no reason to vote for Congress. And so maybe they just don't go any further because they have to get on their way, or maybe because they get their ballot in the mail that they don't know to even turn it over to go to the nonpartisan to elect Mitch Robinson and Pam Pugh, et cetera. And so I can't stress how important I believe this is. And I could be totally wrong. I will tell you that I have volunteered to be the communications coordinator for the campaign, and try to do my best to support that in that effort as well. So I'll take any questions, and then we can move on.
I don't see any hands, but feel free to speak up, anybody, if you have questions.
And I will put into the chat, I'll put in that Mobilize link for people to share in their county cohorts in terms of stressing to people just the first round of phone banking, June 24th through June 30th, I believe are the correct dates. And it's a Mobilize link. So you just click in, sign up, and then you'll get notice as to when that's going to happen. So I will put that in the chat.
Can you make sure that goes out to like the chairs of that's involved in all of this, so they have that? So like we're having a meeting and Amy can put that with our stuff with the meeting.
You're talking about the link, Melissa?
Yeah, now, wait a minute. So let me back up, because you're saying we want to keep this stuff kind of private.
We just want to focus on the volunteer groups. This was recommended.
Okay, so
Right.
we don't want to necessarily put it in our newsletter to sign up. So how,
I
is that what okay,
No.
yeah,
No,
Yeah, I'll
we'll
let-
just share it
okay.
with
all
our
right,
people.
Okay,
I already
Yeah,
have it already, yeah.
thank
Right.
you. All
And
right,
then if we get,
cool.
if we are really, there's another organization that Joseph's trying to work with to try to secure volunteers. It's called the Sunrise Movement, to try to get some folks from, I guess there's a state chapter and then a national chapter or whatever, to try to get those folks on board as well. But the real push is just to try to get folks to start making phone calls on June 24th, because they'll walk a voter and say, hey, did you receive the mailer? Have you received your absentee ballot yet? Because here's how you might want to look at it. So the other thing I'll mention briefly, sorry, somebody had a question, is that in terms of funding, the second mailer and any palm cards that we do, that the campaign, excuse me, that the Alfonso campaign does will need to come out of the campaign, because the MDP has made their $5,000 contribution. That's it. So if we decide as a 6th congressional that we want to, if we want to appropriate funds or decide how funds might be distributed amongst candidates, I'd be more than happy to take part in that conversation.
That's what I was just going to say. I agree with what Rick said 100%. And I think we should go ahead and allocate those funds for the second round. There's no better way to spend our money right now, in my opinion.
I appreciate that, Amy. Here's what, and I'll leave this to the chair. If the group decided that they wanted to commit a set amount, but then my recommendation would be to hold the check until until whomever comes and says, hey, we understand that you have voted to commit X amount of dollars. We could really use that money now. The Van Buren County Democrats at our June 2nd meeting voted to commit $1,000 to the Alfonso for Congress campaign. And the idea was to hold those funds until we got notice that they were absolutely needed at that moment, or when it is most needed. I'm sorry, I'm not speaking very clearly on that. But if the group wanted to vote to commit us up to a certain amount or that sort of thing, that would be, I think that might be appropriate, the appropriate way to go.
We can do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we've got at least $1,000, so we can match that for now. Any objections?
I just
Does
have
that
a
take-
question. Sorry,
Go ahead.
point of clarification, I guess. And I'm sorry if we already covered this. Did we decide that we can expend funds on candidates not running in the 6th?
I mean, the 6th doesn't exist anymore, so we are having to expend funds for candidates not in the 6th. This is the really weird thing. The MDP isn't really giving us a lot of guidance on this. So
Okay.
our organization exists as CD6 and will not be
Until
reformed in
February.
February. But CD6 doesn't exist.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to check. As long as we haven't been told no, then I have no objection.
I mean, yeah,
But it exists as a congressional district, and Fred Upton is still the congressman until the end of the year. So CD6 does exist. in
Right, and so,
yeah.
current, But the election that is happening in November, it doesn't exist. So
or the primary. It doesn't exist for the primary either. So yeah, we need to be supporting these candidates for districts that we don't align with. It's doesn't make a lot of sense. It would have been a lot easier if they had said, yeah, hey, look, we need to reform now, but they didn't. So
I did ask
we are
Jeff about
doing our
that. and
best.
I did ask Jeff about that, and he said state law prohibits it. So even if we wanted to reorganize and create a CD4, state law doesn't allow it.
What doesn't it allow specifically? Like it says you have to reform at convention in February.
He didn't elaborate, but he did say it was in state election law. That the CD4 doesn't actually exist until like January or something, even though there's an election season around it. It's CD6 for now. So, because I did ask him, how come we don't just, transition sooner? And he said it's not even something the MDP could have the authority to do. It's a state election law problem.
so sorry, I didn't mean to, derail us or anything. I guess I just wanted to make sure, because we had this conversation before, and as far as I knew, it was still outstanding. So I guess we're already not in compliance in a variety of different ways. If we're gonna pick a way to not be in compliance, this seems like a really chaotic good reason. So I'm supportive of it, but I just wanted to get clarity on if we had a hard answer on that.
Mariah, I just texted Jeff and I asked him, I said, can CD6 make a contribution to the Alfonso campaign? And he said, yes. And without having to worry about the contribution the MDP's already made as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's the authority, but
Okay, then yeah, I would formally, we're without objection, but I would move that we allocate up to $1,000 to the Alfonso campaign if he needs it.
I
Second,
would support that. Oh, God.
whoever.
All right, we have a motion by Mariah, second by John. All right, all those in favor? Oh, let me restate the motion in full. To allocate up to $1,000 from our PAC account to the Alfonso campaign. All in favor, please say aye.
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Huzzah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Rick, was there anything else for your report?
no, thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
All right, cool. Any further questions before we move on to the county reports? Seeing none, cool. Jill, floor is yours.
Okay, gang. So the picnic, as Eleanor said, is on July 3rd. At 3, we will be grilling hot dogs and they will be available for donation. And just so y'all know, technically, we cannot sell hot dogs because we would need to have a permit from the Allegheny County Health Department. So we are grilling hot dogs and they are available, and all donations are greatly appreciated. And then everybody's supposed to bring a dish to pass, just like in the past. As far as I know, we are getting Kyra Bolden as our guest speaker. And then, of course, all of our candidates will wax on, because that's how these things work. And so we will get to hear from all of our wonderful candidates. I don't know exactly which ones are coming, but I will double check with Helen and make sure that the invitations have been extended. Eleanor, if you're sending anything out, you might want to make sure that the candidates know. I don't think there's like a huge advantage to knowing in advance who's there, because when they get there, we'll just, line them up and they'll all go up and speak. So, yep, July 23rd, Little John Lake Park. And Mike, it's on our calendar. Can you put it on the 6th district calendar?
It should be on the 6th district calendar.
Okay, good. Helen just wanted me to make sure it was on there.
I just didn't have the time of day, so it's an all-day event at the moment.
3 to 6.
Thank you.
So, and then Allegan Dems are hosting campaign training on Tuesday. It's the topic of our business meeting. We will do an hour of training. We had originally scheduled Joey. We invited both Joey and Annie to be a part of the event, all of the candidates that are running in Allegan County to be a part of the event. Joey said that he would come. Annie said she didn't want to come. And then Joey has a conflict now, and a meeting that was supposed to be on Monday that has to do with the AFL and some other stuff. It got moved to Tuesday because of Juneteenth. So then Joey, yesterday we found out that he wasn't going to be able to come and do the training. So Annie will be there to do training. She's going to do canvassing training. It's going to be mostly canvassing training, but I will talk a little bit about phone banking and van. So that's on Tuesday. It starts at 6:30. It's at the Allegan Tech Center. It'll be in the auditorium, and we will have it available on Zoom as well, but you'll have to email info.allegandems for the Zoom link just for security purposes. Yeah, I think that's like mostly it. I just want to put a plug in for Austin and Justin Mendoza. Justin Mendoza is a fabulous candidate, and we could not be more blessed to have such a stellar candidate. And according to Days Redistricting, it's an 8-point Republican district, which means we just got to move the needle 5 points and Justin wins. So anybody that can help Justin win would be greatly appreciated. That's it.
Thank you, Jill. Any questions for Jill until we move on? All right, Amy, floor is yours.
Hey guys, our only update really is the change in our fundraiser date. Hopefully everyone saw that, that it is June 30th. So next Saturday, right? Wait a second, 2 Saturdays? June 30th. So yeah, 2 Saturdays. And wait, I'm in the wrong month. Here we go. June 30th. Okay, Thursday. It is a Thursday. I'm in the wrong month. We intentionally did it on a Thursday. We were able to secure the venue for that day. And we had some conflicts with some of our vendors and problems that we couldn't work around for the initial date. So it is now June 30th, a Thursday evening. Hope you guys can make it. Anyone, obviously, who's able to make it. This is going to be our annual fundraiser that we've been trying to plan for a long time. Thanks, Mike, for making sure that's on the calendar with the correct date. I had initially put it up there, but with the wrong date, obviously. And so Secret Garden, Benton Harbor, 6 o'clock start time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And that's what we have coming up. Otherwise, we're just working on all of our same stuff and trying to get Joseph on the ballot.
Cool. Thank you, Amy. Pardon me. Any questions for Amy? Anything we can do to help with your fundraiser? Do you have a Facebook event that I can share on the page?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on all of our social. It just went out again in the June newsletter. It's but yeah, sharing it and just building as much hype as you can, we would appreciate. Thank you.
Cool. I will share that as soon as this meeting is over. All right. Naomi,
Okay, is everybody hear me all right?
yes,
Okay, my sound acts up all the time, so I wasn't sure. We are just working to promote our county commission candidates. That's really where our main focus is at the moment. I don't know if you're all up to date on this, so I hope I'm not repeating myself, but the Court of Appeals ruled in favor of Jim Peterson's appeal of the initial county, new county commission map. So the county apportionment committee had to go back to the drawing board to do a new map. And the county clerk, who is a Republican and put through the original map, which was struck down, decided to be practical. And so he and I worked together and created a new map that met the, overcame the objections of the appeal, which was that we not split the city of Dowagiac and that we have at least one competitive district out of 8 in the county of Cass. So that's what we have now. We have one county commission district that is a competitive district. And could have had that in the first place, but that didn't happen. But we have it now. Hopefully no one else appeals this one. And so that did upset the apple cart. We have several primaries on the Republican side for county commission seats. And so the newly adopted map did upset 3 Republican candidates, and one of the, because they live in districts that no longer exist. So unfortunately, the Court of Appeals, when it presented its ruling in favor of Jim Peterson, did not say what to do about the filing date. It didn't make it. It didn't rule out any options that candidates had now for filing in new districts. So that meant that, according to the Board of Elections, we had no choice but to follow the initial April 19th filing date. So anybody that wants to run in a newly created district has to do it as write-in candidates. So write-in candidates seem to be the name of the game right now. So I don't know what those Republicans will decide to do. Fortunately, it did not affect any of our Democratic candidates. So we have 6 candidates running out of, there were 2 districts where we were not able to get candidates. One of our candidates will have to be a write-in, I should say, also. But it's not too hard to get a write-in candidate. I think the mechanism for voting for a write-in candidate in the August primary for a county commissioner is not that difficult. So we're hoping to make that happen. So that's really where our focus is. We have a newly created PAC, and so we're in the process of raising funds for that so that we can support all of our county commissioner candidates. So that's really been our main focus, other than, as Amy said, just doing our usual, ordinary county business. So I think that's all that I have right now.
thank you, Naomi. Any questions for Naomi? All right, seeing none. Mariah, your turn for your report, please.
Awesome, thank you. So first, I'll just say big thanks to Rick for all his guidance and help on the Joseph Alfonso stuff. I have just a ton of people in Kalamazoo County asking what the heck is going on, and honestly, this campaign wouldn't be going anywhere without Rick. So really grateful to him for his patience and his commitment to the campaign. and to Democrats up and down the ballot, because we need Joseph on there for all of our local folks. So that's great. We had our monthly meeting last Thursday, or this past Thursday. We made a bunch of endorsements. So in all the partisan races, we chose to endorse everyone who is unopposed in the primary, so that I don't know if everyone's bylaws are like this, but we can't allocate funds unless someone receives an official endorsement from our party. So we decided to endorse folks early who were unopposed in the primary, so that we can start hopefully cutting checks to people who need that money early for serious Republican opposition. We went down from 11 commissioners to 9 for the apportionment stuff. So there's a lot of actual competitive seats where maybe they weren't before, but we have new candidates running as well. So we want to spend some money. So, I mean, we only have 2 primaries in the district also. So it wasn't a big deal. And then we also endorsed several judicial candidates. We endorsed 1 candidate of 3 for the 8th district court. And then we endorsed 4 total candidates for 2 seats in the 9th Circuit Court, and making sure that they're all on their best behavior throughout the primary season. We are going to be doing a Labor Day event fundraiser, I think, with the local IBEW, plumbers and pipe fitters, a couple of the local unions, just try to, hot dogs, games, whatever, TBD on the details for that though. And we are also are working to bring on a new candidates and campaigns chair. We have a person in that position now. She actually just got back from a study abroad. So hopefully I'll be introducing her to Rick soon, once she's kind of got her feet wet a little bit, and she can help with a lot of this coordination between the campaigns. We have the 1 campaign in our office right now. I'm hearing from candidates actually this morning that there's a lot of oh, you guys just knocked my door, between, the candidates and the 1 campaign out there doing the same thing in the same doors. So really pushing candidates to coordinate. I did at one of the meetings with Joseph, talk to Jeff Winston, and Jeff said he's going to make sure that our state level folks survey questions get included on the 1 campaign script. So if you haven't already made that push to your 1 campaign organizer, I recommend doing that, because it looks like now is kind of the time to press for that small victory. I think that it should have been a given in the first place, but that's just me being crabby. Not a whole lot else going on. Yeah, we're trying to recruit folks for school board. I think that's it. That's all I got from Kalamazoo.
All right, thank you, Mariah. Any other questions, concerns? All right. I know at our last meeting that someone had mentioned Carolyn Higgins is the new chair for St. Joseph, but I don't believe that I have her contact information.
Carol, I have it. I'll send it to you.
Carol, okay, thank you. So she's not here to provide a report. Anybody have anything from St. Joseph?
I can say a little bit about St. Joseph. They had a meeting, oh geez, it's been what, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Time goes so fast. It must be at least 3 weeks ago. I'm in the fog. My husband just had emergency surgery not too long ago, and it's kind of upended our lives. So I'm in somewhat of a fog. But they had a picnic to introduce all of their local candidates, congressional candidates, House candidates, at one of the parks in 3 Rivers. So I know that's one thing they've done. And then I'm not sure where else they are. Carol is the new chair, and she obviously is, getting some organizing things going. So
Have they made any progress on getting an office space or any sort of base camp set up? Or are they still kind of on the wind?
Good question. I am not 100% sure about that. Maybe Jill knows.
I do not know.
All right, cool. John, do you have a report for us?
Yeah, hi. Rick stole most of my report, but I would just echo what he said about my dog's barking too. I would echo what Rick said about supporting the Joseph Alfonso write-in campaign, and that the Van Buren County Democrats did allocate $1,000 as we just did also. But were he to approach your county, I would encourage you to help him out. Thank you.
All right.
I would just,
Any,
if I can add some real quick.
Mhm.
Real quick. So John, you're being too humble. I thought we had a very successful, our last meeting here on June the 2nd. We had a great turnout. We did it here in South Haven. And we had several candidates that spoke. Annie, Joey, Joseph, Kim, Gail Patterson Gladney from Van Buren County County Commission as well. We had, and Mitch Robinson was our special guest speaker. Mitch is the State Board of Education candidate endorsed by the Michigan Democratic Party. In attendance, we had school board members from both Benton Harbor and the Covert School District. We had the South Haven EA president, Education Association president, their union president, sorry. Andrea Jager was also in attendance. John did a great job running that meeting. For us, it was a big meeting. Let me put it this way, Mike, you've been around Van Buren longer than I have. But it's one of the larger meetings that we had. And I just want to applaud John for the way that he handled the meeting, the information that we were able to share with voters here in South Haven and the greater South Haven area, if that's appropriate to say. But anyway, and we're excited. We're going to do our July meeting back in Pawpaw, and to get some things going as well. So just wanted to mention that.
You have a question for me, Melissa?
No, I don't have a question but I'll wait till you're done. So thank you.
I am done. So
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just have a question back to Rick again about the money. MVP has a limit because of federal. Can we assume that $4,999 is the approximate cost of the first mailer and the printing for the mailer, so that we have kind of a target of what we might need between now and the primary, not to mention if he's successful getting on there, we haven't even talked about the next part. So is that a good amount that we need to strive for additional mailings and or POM things?
That's a great question. So the second mailer will be targeted to a smaller voter. I had this exact conversation with Jeff Winston, a smaller voter population, the second mailer. And so it shouldn't cost as much. Palm cards, he said, are relatively inexpensive. And I will tell you, let's see, how can I say this? Jeff also shared suggested budget targets, I guess, if that's appropriate to say. And I spoke with the deputy campaign manager this morning, and we're going to have a meeting Monday morning with Joseph to talk about call time and to set some budget goals and certain targets for call time. And that's why my recommendation would be to, and I appreciate the group voting to commit the funds. And then if we can keep those funds to, when they're absolutely needed. Because, our goals for the campaign are to, have him making call time and raising funds so that maybe we could hold our funds and they wouldn't be necessary for that. Maybe we could utilize our funds for a different purpose. But to answer your question directly, Melissa, yes, we've had that conversation. The second mailer shouldn't be as costly. Mariah at one of our meetings even suggested that maybe we have a third mailer. I believe we talked about that a little bit. And so does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It's just, they have to be responsible. They being the campaign has to do some stuff too, but it's just kind of nice to know what our target is, and if we don't spend it, then that's something that can be used towards a general when he's successful in August. So, okay.
Absolutely.
And I agree wholeheartedly. with Mariah, that you have been way too humble to that without your push. Mariah has, I mean, I'm just so impressed that none of this would have taken place. So thank you.
And for clarification that, and if I'm incorrect, Eleanor, you could tell me, but believe we voted to endorse Joseph early on. I asked him to get a list of his endorsements, and he listed CD6 as having endorsed him earlier. I don't know when that exactly happened. It might be in our minutes somewhere.
I don't remember.
But
But
that's
I mean,
where-
he's running unopposed, so I would much rather him than Bill Heisinger.
Sure, right. Well, I wanted to make sure that, because I asked for my own role on the campaign, I asked Joseph to tell me who, where he had applied for endorsement, if that's accurate, and where he had been endorsed. And he sent me back and he said, yes, CD6 had already endorsed him. So
I don't remember us doing that, but honestly, I don't know. I might have.
I don't either, because for quite a while there, we weren't sure if he was the only candidate. So,
Yeah, so let me check May. Let's see.
you can let me know that later too. I don't know if you want to take it.
Yeah. Well, and it's complicated too, because we didn't meet, so we met in May, we didn't meet in April because of the convention. We met in March, but that was an executive committee meeting. Or no, that was our district convention before the convention. So that was pretty specific. And then February,
well, I
Did
know
we meet in February?
we did not endorse before the filing deadline,
mm-mm.
because we would not have endorsed before everybody had, weighed in and we knew who was running.
I'm calling him right now to ask, just for clarification. I might have missed.
Yeah, I don't have Alfonso in our previous to the May or March meeting minutes, and the filing
Has he
deadline was in
ever
April,
been-
wasn't it?
Has he ever been
Yeah.
to one of our meetings?
I'm certain, yeah, he was. I know that he attended one.
Well, I think maybe he might be not thinking about it formally, because I mean, yes, we're supporting him, and we're meeting with him and whatnot, but I don't know. I mean, if he's been to a meeting, it's only been one, so I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eleanor, do we still have a quorum?
Let me see, who did we lose? We only lost Amy.
Does that lose the quorum though?
We had one more person. Well, yeah, Dashuna left. Yeah, I don't think we have a quorum anymore.
So we can't endorse him right now.
Mm-mm. I can look really quick.
Does that mean we're trapped in the meeting and can never leave?
Yes.
No, the chair is unilaterally allowed to adjourn the meeting if they choose, but.
Well, that's a good
see.
safety to have. That's
Yeah, so we don't have Amy and we don't have. I think that's too few, one too few. Yeah, we're one short. That's okay. So yeah, we can't endorse right now, but
So here, I just got off the phone with him. He said he has not been officially endorsed by the 6th. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
okay.
just 30 seconds away from the meeting. So if you already discussed that, but
It would be,
No.
is there any way we can get, I mean, I know we're trying, or can we vote on this over email? Like, can we have a virtual, like an email quorum? So I would move now that we formally endorse Joseph's write-in campaign, and if we can vote on that over email, that way, because right now, there's no way for anyone to know that there is I mean, other than his own work, if we can endorse him,
Mhm.
and then he can say I'm endorsed by the 6 congressional Democrats, what that does is it stops other people who don't know he's running a write-in campaign from running a write-in campaign.
Mhm. No, I agree. I don't know if we can do that. I don't think it's actually delineated either way in our bylaws. Other organizations that I've worked with usually say no to that because of the Open Meetings Act. That, everyone has to be able to attend a meeting where you do business, and over email, that's not possible.
But parties are not subject to the Open Meetings Act.
We aren't? Ooh, okay, then that
No.
makes it
Well,
possible.
and
No,
one
because
way,
we're not a public entity, we're a private entity.
Right.
and if you
Ah.
wanted to just kind of not skirt it, if you wanted to make sure it's taken care of correctly, maybe if you sent out a note saying we are going to do this on in 3 days, like you have to, our bylaws say we have to give notice of a meeting, 5-day notice of a meeting. So maybe if you put that out there, you know, so a certain number of days that we are going to be doing this in 5 days so that nobody can say I didn't know. Whether or not they read their email is another, that's their problem, not ours. But at
That's a
least
good
it's
point.
out there, at least it's out there that you did make the attempt and this was what was going to happen on a certain date. Just
Yeah.
to agree with Mariah that I think we need to.
And I
That's
also
true.
just say that we do it as a KCDP exec committee sometimes, and I'll just like, whatever our quorum is, I just require that many of yes votes in email response.
There you go.
Yeah, we've done email endorsements through the Progressive Caucus before, but that
Yeah.
was years ago.
But I mean, as
Um,
long as you give
but yeah.
somebody notice and you just say, we're going, you know, that this is what we're going to be doing when,
Mhm.
then you're covered.
Okay, I can do that. I can set that up. I'm sending an email this afternoon to our list about the potluck, just to make sure that it's on everybody's calendar. I can set that up to email to people. I'll let them know about it.
Or you can say vote by it, so you don't have to do another email.
Yeah,
You just
have a
do
range.
reminder, just say, have a range and vote by a certain date that way. You know, if
Yeah.
you send a reminder, then voting will close, blah, 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 that way.
So-
Okay,
So not to throw a wrench in this, but would that be considered a secret ballot?
not if I publicize it.
Thank you. I just wanted to put that out there because I'm just reading 3.13.
Not if we
Vote, so-
reply all.
Right,
Right.
yep. Thank you.
Yeah, we can require names and email addresses so that we know who it is. I mean, not that it matters, but yeah, we can have them vote yes or no. And yeah,
So I apologize because I was on the phone, but is this in regards to officially endorsing?
Yes.
yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
it's very important. Somebody already said that, but
Okay, yeah, so what I can do is I can get an email together with, hey, we'd like to endorse him, and also, hey, here's how you vote for him. Please tell your friends. But yeah, we need to start posting that. I saw that the KCDP already posted a really thorough, because Mark Miller sent around an email, and KCDP basically sent that on their Facebook page, which I shared on our page too, of how to vote. So fill in the bubble and write his name. So we need to just start hammering that into people as much as possible. So I shared that on our Facebook page, but we can also use this as a tool for that as well. Like, hey, Joseph Alfonso is running. We want him to be on the ballot. Here's how you do it. And we'd also like to endorse him. So here's a vote for that until, you know, give them 2 weeks to vote or something like that. But yeah,
I wouldn't give
okay.
them 2 weeks. I wouldn't give them 2 weeks.
Okay, however
I'd say
long.
a week. Well, that's my
a
thing. I
week.
don't think you need to, what do you think, Mariah?
I think we'll be able to get enough in a few days, but we want to give everybody the chance.
Well, yeah, but 2 weeks is too much almost.
Yeah, I just don't set a date on it. And then the second you have enough yeses, then call the question.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
what would be a majority? Then there it is.
Okay, okay.
There you go.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on it then. I'll send that out next week though, so we're not inundating people with email. But I'll schedule that to send. I can send it to everybody as like a preview, like here's what we're gonna say, does this look good? And then we can send it next weekend. Okay, cool. All right, state party report. Corey, do you have anything to provide to us?
I'm here, just had difficulty finding the mute button, but not a whole lot to report. Everybody pretty much has talked at length about the Joseph Alfonso situation, so I won't add to that. Just want to clarify that the August convention is the nominating convention. That's where we do the official work of nominating the Secretary of State, Attorney General, and Lieutenant Governor candidates, along with our Supreme Court and board candidates for our universities and our state school board. And so that'll be August 20th and 21st of this year.
All right, thanks. And other people have previously mentioned the gang run printing information. The MDP sent information about that around in the chair's call roundup. So if any of you need that information for campaigns that you're running with, or any of you chairs need that information, I've got it, so I can forward it to you. But it's a great way to save money on printing. So we were talking about printing a lot, so definitely utilize that if it's possible, because it'll save us a lot of money, and the campaign's a lot of money too. All right, and we've already talked about the picnic, and we've talked at length about Joseph's campaign, so that was the new business that we had. All right, is there any other business that we need to attend to before we go to good and welfare? No?
Just to change the agenda, because it does say state endorsement convention. And I
Yeah.
apologize, I should have seen that earlier, but
I'll change that, no worries. We'll take a friendly amendment on that to fix it. All right, so announcements and good and welfare, like we said, the annual picnic is July 23rd. Thank you, Joel, for clarifying the time, 3 to 6 p.m. Do you, when do you want people there to help set up, Jill? 2?
If anybody wants to help set up, yeah, we usually arrive around 2 and start decorating and setting up.
All right, I've noted that in the minutes. And then the state nominating convention in Lansing on the 20th and 21st. That was the only other good and welfare. Any other good and welfare or announcements? Nope. Okay, then we can be adjourned. Thank you for attending, everyone. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you all soon.
Thanks, Eleanor.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.